Hi, thank you so much for being here today and for your interest in working for the clients that we serve. So, I want to start off this training by giving you an overview of our patients of Medicist. Most of our patients come into our care after being discharged from a nursing home and being transitioned back to home. They are assigned to us so we can take care of them through that transition and beyond. We want to help take care of any physical needs that they have as well as their emotional needs. When a patient is assigned to you, you're first going to be responsible for filling out what is known as a care plan. The care plan is going to cover different types of things that the patients may need from us. There's going to be more information on that care plan and how you're going to fill it out, more specific guidelines in the next training video. The piece I want to address here is the emotional well-being of our patients. So, just to overview, most elderly patients are extremely excited to have their physical needs taken care of. Their emotional needs are just as important to us, but they're more difficult to cultivate. It's extremely important for the emotional well-being of our patients that they have a relationship and a connection with each one of you. That is what enables them to discuss the issues that they're having. Without that relationship and connection, they have no interest in sharing. This Medicare program that you're working with as a care manager, as an intern, is looking to deliver a fully comprehensive health process, not just the physical piece. In the office based in New York, we have care managers who are focused specifically on the physical needs of the patients. Your job as an intern is to cultivate those relationships with these elderly patients so that they trust you and feel comfortable and are able to deal with their mental and emotional needs. We're going to be assigning a physical care manager to each one of your patients as well. That means that if a patient brings up that they need a doctor script, they need a DME product, they need a wheelchair, you're going to be, and again, the physical part of these, the more specific part of this will be in the next training video, but you're going to be passing that along to the physical care manager and just following up with your patient like, hey, did that get taken care of? I assign that to the person who's going to be working on that. Elderly patients, as we said before, similar to how you are going to encounter in children and adolescents as well, can sometimes be resistant to having their emotional needs discussed and worked through. The goal of this internship for you is for you to gain the skills needed to work through this kind of resistance and to gain trusting relationships. We're able to help you with this piece by giving you some concrete ideas and scripts. However, keep in mind that it's not always going to be an easy task, but it's something that you'll be working towards not just during this entire internship, but also your entire career. Consider yourself successful the more relationships you have been able to cultivate. Let's dive in and take a look at how these conversations may go. So I'm going to be reading you a script now of what it would sound like to introduce a video conference with an elderly patient, and we'll talk about some of the resistance you may encounter, how to deal with it, and very importantly, you always must be attending your clinical supervision to be asking these kinds of questions that come up as well. So you were assigned a patient, you're reaching out to them for the very first time, you're saying, hi Mary, my name is Jessie and I'm going to be your new care manager and I'm going to be helping you with everything that you need. Let's start off by setting up a Zoom call so we can meet face to face. I'm going to text you a link or, I'm going off script here, but you can either use WhatsApp or you can use FaceTime or you can use Zoom, however is most comfortable for you and the patient. So you're going to click on it and you're going to put in you're going to be teaching them how to do this, and then we can meet virtually. I would love to talk face to face so I can get to know you better. It may be easier, just so you know, to call them on a house phone so they can follow your instructions on a cell phone if they don't have a computer, etc. Now, let's say they're very resistant. They're going to say, I don't know how. I don't know what Zoom is. I don't have patience for this. Things like that, right? So your answer should be, no problem. Why don't I call you on the house phone so I can walk you through it? Zoom is a super simple way for us to see each other face to face while we're talking. You might even like it and get to see your grandchildren this way or your children this way. And you're going to try to work with the patient and convincing them in different ways that they can use Zoom to see each other, to see other people in their lives. You will also work with your clinical supervisor to learn techniques such as motivational interviewing to help convince the patient. If the patient absolutely refuses and you tried multiple different ways, you can tell them, no problem, let's talk on the phone for now. Continue the session on the phone, but don't give up. Once you gain a little more trust with them, you're going to try again to do face-to-face. Face-to-face is always better for maintaining a connection. Let's talk about a script once you get to see them face-to-face. So you're going to say, hi, Mary, I'm so glad we're getting to see each other. Thanks for working on this with me. Just to clarify, we're meeting so that I can get you everything that you need and talk to you a little bit about the adjustment, what it's like going from a nursing home to your house. Now, then you're going to be jumping in and discussing a little bit about the care plan. But remember, if the patient is not so interested in you asking them a billion questions right off the bat, don't worry about it. The goal in the beginning is just to gain that relationship. So some of them might be interested in you asking them about their background, their family life, how many kids, grandkids, do they get to see them, etc. Some of them are not going to be interested. Your job, like I said, is to maintain a connection. Make them want to see you every week. And this is true of every session you will ever have in the beginning. Your first part of becoming a social worker is gaining a relationship. Now, if the patient is very hesitant, you're going to need to ease into asking personal questions. For example, the first piece of what you're doing over the course of the care plan, right? So let's say you're asking a couple of questions like, do you need this kind of item? Do you need that kind of item? The care plan is very physical, but again, you're not going to be looking for those items. You're just keeping track of what the patient needs. Now, during that conversation, you're going to keep on the lookout for anything personal that they mention. They might mention a child, a grandchild, a pet, any complaint that they bring up. These are things you're going to jot down in a SANA in the patient file. You don't know what a SANA is yet? That's fine. You're going to learn all that in your next training. So these notes are going to help you refer back on the next visit so that you can look for ways to connect. You can add, some of the questions you might ask is, what's your daily or weekly schedule like? Do you normally sleep late? Do you normally wake up early? Do you interact with any friends or families? Do you do any activities? Would you like to do more social activities? What type of activities would interest you? These are all questions that will come as a springboard for conversation in the future, such as, how did your bridge go? Or, I remember you mentioned one of your neighbors was keeping you up at late. Did anything happen with that? Did you speak to the person? Do you want us to speak to them? Your pet was having some problems. Were you able to get him to a vet? Does he seem happier? Many of the patients came from nursing homes. You can ask them about their experience. Did they like it? Did they hate it? What did they like or dislike about it? How did they choose their facility? Most importantly, let the patient talk. Don't stop them. You don't have to get through anything specific. In the beginning, for sure, it is important just to let the patient feel confident and comfortable. Let them see that you are the person who's going to listen to them, whatever it is they want to talk about. Now, some follow-up questions for weekly sessions. You might say, hey, it's good to see you. How are you feeling? How's your week been? Did your son come visit like we talked about? Did the nursing home do what they were supposed to, etc., etc.? Eventually, you may be able to work with your patients on mindfulness or grounding, things that you'll learn with your supervisor. But that is only after a trusting relationship has been solidified. Refer to your supervisor for when this time is right. Do not try to do it on your own. These patients have been through a lot, and they have a lot of people prodding them and asking them questions and making them crazy. You need to be the person who is listening. That is the first and most important piece of this internship. You will get the second training video, which will give you a lot more of the physical details on how you're going to be recording each piece. Thank you for watching.